Welcome back to Lady Heard, dear listeners. I'm Silvia, and today I will be accompanying you through this episode where we will talk about family. Say hi to my lovely ladies, Schaida and Cegolene. Say hi, ladies.
Hi.
Who are here with me today to discuss this topic. So, let's start. Adulthood comes with all sorts of changes. Among these, there are ways in which our relationship with our parents or other family members transforms itself. In some cases, family members are our allies and our best supporters and motivators. In others, they still remain a mystery to us, or we still hold grudges against them for things of the past, despite growing up. We might, in fact, become parents ourselves or assume the parent role, especially if our caregiver figures are getting older. This role reversing may make us feel confused, lost, or it can be seen as a natural evolution of one becoming an adult. So, ladies, time to be heard. Have you ever noticed any difference in your relationship with your immediate or extended family members over the years, especially after moving to new countries?
Yes. I left my mother's house when I was around 16, 17 years old, and being apart was quite fundamental for me in order to become the woman that I am today, that is more grateful and definitely more mature. And I believe that the distance, although it set us apart physically, made our bond stronger, I would say, especially with my mom. And not knowing when the next time you will see each other teaches you, often in the hardest way, to value every single second you spend together.
Yeah, I can see like your point. I also feel myself like sometimes even though I'm bickering with my parents, but like when we're like together and we have like little moments, I kind of like want to experience them fully, especially if they're positive ones, because you won't know like when will be the next time that you will meet each other. So I think like it is important that we cherish those moments, but we also enjoy them while we still are in the same space. Yeah. What about you, Sego?
I feel the same way for my relationship with my dad, where we enjoy more each other's nights that we are apart. With my mom, it's kind of different. We always had like a really conflictual relationship, and I don't see it getting better, but I think it kind of lifted the weight in my shoulder, because when I was still living in France, I was kind of forcing myself to go see her, even so I would know it will end in fight almost each time. It's allowed me to take a step back and to observe my relationship with my mother better, but it's also free me in a way, because we were stuck in the same routine. But since I was not here anymore, I was able to get unstuck. So it kind of helped a bit as well.
So you find that in a way, like the distance helped like the relationship between you two getting better.
It didn't get better, but it didn't get worse. But if I would have stayed, it might have gotten worse.
Okay. So like there was probably a bit more stability between the two of you when you moved away compared to like when you were living together.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Well, for me, I would say it has depended on the family member. I have, for example, with my parents, I have a ups and downs relationship. I won't lie to you. So even if I know that they're proud of me, they're proud of the path and all the things that I've done so far over the years abroad, there are still some recurring thoughts that every parent, I think, has, especially when their child is abroad, which is like, oh, when will be the next time that we'll see each other? Oh, am I missing out on anything in their life? And yeah, that doesn't maybe come easy to them because we are apart. However, I try to like make them updated about, I don't know, small things. For example, I don't know, if I go to some museum, or if I go to travel somewhere, or if I have some different activities, I'll like recount them, what happened, and like, the circumstances. And I think it's a way for me to make them a bit closer to the life that I'm having, like at the moment, and that I had in all the past countries. When it comes to extended family members, if cousins count as extended family members, I have one cousin to whom I am very close, and she's the one that also lives abroad. So like we're kind of understanding each other a bit more. But for the rest, I'm not much in contact with anyone else other than my parents. Even though with my parents we're still a bit at the cats and dogs phase, they're happy of the things that I have achieved, and in the recent years they actually met even a couple of roomies along that I've had along the way, one in Slovenia and the other one in Brussels, and they could see how different I was from when I'm back home. So in a way there was this sharing part, from my side to their side. And I feel now that I'm in my early 30s, I tend to see my parents more as other adults rather than my bloodline. And I think that when we are younger, we are taught to respect and not to question parental authority. But then when we become adults, we see the patterns more objectively. And in some cases, we might be able to understand certain strict behaviors, and also to understand what is good and what is not. It's like they pass from a godly status to a human one in a way. I don't know if it makes sense. What's your take on this?
I agree with you. I think since we are little, we are taught to listen to the teacher, to listen to the adult, but the adult doesn't always have the answer, and you kind of learn it only when you are an adult, and they're not perfect. They make mistake as well, and you only discover that when you are an adult as well, and you haven't everything figured out, and you still make mistake, and you're still growing. We will never stop growing spiritually in our life. We will always be growing, and we grow by the mistakes that we make.
Yeah, I fully agree with this. And mistakes teach us how to be better people in the end. And what's your takeaway on this, Schaida?
Well, I think that, as you said, they might make mistakes, but so do we. And I think that we need to look not only at our parents, but at other people with empathy in this way.
Yeah, indeed, like empathy is so important, yet it's very often overlooked, especially like when we talk about like relationship with our close and love and most dear ones. So yeah, I agree, we should like remind ourselves that empathy is one of the things that we should never set behind. Yeah. To ask you another question, how did you perceive your parents or family members you spent most of the time with? Meaning, what was your perception of them in the past, not now?
In my case, my parents are sacred. And are they perfect? No. There is no such things as perfect parents. You can only have present once. And neither I am perfect. So they will always hold sort of a position of authority in my life, but not in the sense that they can control the decisions I make for myself. Because to be fair, even when I was younger, they already had a struggle with it. I already had given a hard time when I was younger. But in the way that I love and cherish them. And although I haven't achieved everything I've dreamed of yet, the fact that I have them in my life and that I know that we're in a good relationship and they're growing older, healthy, and happy kind of is what keeps me pushing forward and what gets me out of bed every day. And have I always seen things this way? Definitely not, because there was a time in my life when my relationship with them was completely different. And why is that? Because basically I was projecting onto them things I should have held within myself, you see? And here's the best part. My relationship with them didn't change because any of us decided to embrace Jesus or go to therapy. It changed simply because I started seeing things from a different perspective, you see. So sometimes when you're physically closer, you cannot see things clearly. But when you take one step back, your vision just stops being so blurred.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Like that, as soon as we, I mean, as we grow older, we also have the power, we acquire the power to see things differently because we are able then to put ourselves in their shoes for certain things, not everything, because I think learning comes at different stages. And so when probably you grow older and then you had to be an independent adult, then you maybe were able to relate and understand certain struggles that they faced when you were a child. Like you were like, oh, why they're behaving like that, like, so you had more of a critical approach to it. And yeah, I think growing up is not as scary as it might look like. It brings definitely some benefits, and this is one of them. And Sego, what about you?
And my dad was quite strict with us when we were younger, but I think it's like descended from his father that was really, really strict. But then as I grew older, we kind of from like a partnership. I think he learned how to trust me and trust my decision. And so, yeah, you know, when I was dating someone, he always trusts my taste. Well, my taste, but he knows that wasn't gonna date someone that was bad or that would treat me well because he taught me how to be treated, basically. And my mom is a bit complicated. She, when I was younger, it was fine, but as I grew older, we kind of hurt each other, and we are still like mending a bit. She has period where she's really, really fine and really, really great, and so I'm really happy. And that she gets not fine, and she kinda take it on me and my sister, and so it's kinda complicated. It's kinda, so that's why I'm happy that I was able to move away and take a step back and to not be in the center of the storm when she is not good. And that's why in high school it kind of saved me to go to the dorm and not be in the house where we were fighting all the time. And we would see each other only the weekend, and so it was a bit better.
Thank you for sharing. It was I was pleased to say that your dad trusted your dating choices because parents, especially when you're a teenager, they're like, what is she doing? I must monitor. Like I had friends that were monitored. I'm not joking. Regarding in the relationship with your mom, you have ups and downs because they're like forcibly linked to their mood, and I can see like there will be instability, but I hope that the times where she was like fine and she was able to communicate and everything were enjoyable, because I think the reasons why we have so many clashes with our parents when we're like younger, and in some cases we kind of have them still, is because we expect them to understand us at all times, because we tell them we tell ourselves they've lived before us, so they must have gone through the same challenges, and it is often not the case. Well, it might be the case if they had very similar experiences to you, but in other cases, like you have your own experiences and they are unique to you, so in a way they cannot fully relate and they cannot fully advise in the best way, that even if they wanted to, because they don't have the same path as you. So I think that also is a component that we must consider when we take into account the relationship with our family members.
I couldn't agree more.
In my case, I spent most of the time of my early years with my grandparents here in my own hometown compared to my parents. And to be honest, passing from it to spending the majority of my time with my parents and some of it, mostly summers, visiting my other grandma and other relatives in the south with whom I now have almost no contact except for Christmas, Easter, and birthday wishes, felt a little weird in retrospect. I loved my grandparents because I genuinely felt free and they were giving me the space that I needed. And I think, like, as children, we like attention, but too much attention is like too much at the same time. And my parents were the stricter version of them, as it is often the case with parents, and grandparents, they have this different outlook on life and how you interact with children. And I used to consider a couple of cousins as my elder sisters because we were close in age. But with time, I noticed I was the only one who wanted to stay in touch. So I kind of distanced because I realized that one way relationships are not entirely my thing, even though I must, even though I have like some of them still with maybe in friendship, but I think like with family members, you're taught that they will always be there for you. You have blood ties, so they're kind of obliged to serve you in a way. But I think it is quite detrimental in the long term because then you cannot really count on anyone in your family, and it's a bit sad. So in a way, each relationship taught me something about boundaries, communication, and what shaped one's life path. And I believe every encounter and interaction serve, both from a positive and a negative point of view, to understand us better, even if it doesn't come from our blood relatives. And for this reason, I wanted to bring up a concept that it is called found family. And it is a trope that it is used a lot in fan fiction, and it is particularly dear to the queer community too. In fact, we often hear the saying, friends are the family we chose. And ladies, I have a last question for you. Have you ever had a friend that you considered like a family member?
Well, he's not a friend anymore. I married him, but I think, it's not just friends.
It's more than that.
See?
It's not just friends that you choose, it's also the person that's gonna share your life. And I think it's a really, really important choice. And they become family eventually if you believe in marriage. But yeah, that's the most recent ones that I can think of. Yeah, I think I had friends growing up, like, especially when I was younger, that I considered sister, but we kind of like went to different high school or different university and we kind of lost contact. Yeah, we grew up and we went on with our life, but that I have wonderful memories with them, and I think it's kind of what's important as well.
And I have a question about this. Would you consider like recontacting or rekindling the friendship with with your husband? Obviously you're living together, so there's no need to rekindle anything. But with the other friend, would you say like, I don't know, if in a few years time you feel like you want to contact her again, would you do it? Or would you be like, oh no, it's a thing of the past, so it stays in the past, and then if I find another person, another woman, I don't know, that matches similar story to what I had, then she might be the friend that can feel like family.
Mm. So I would love Luna to do that, but I have like I don't know if you have the same issue as me, but I have anxiety with messages, and I'm always scared of bothering people. And oh my god, maybe they don't want. I overthink every text, almost every text that I send, and so I struggle to take the first step in messaging, and so that's why I'm a really bad friend. I'm very poor. But yeah, I would definitely. I think maybe meeting them in real would be less weird because I will not overthink every little thing. And but if we, yeah, I will definitely do it because we had a really good memory together. And just to, even if we don't renew the friendship, because anyway it would be, they are still in France, I'm in Ireland, so we can't meet really often, but just like one weekend a year, and it would be great already.
No, I just wanted to give like my two tips. I mean, first of all, it's only weird if you act weirdly, so give it a try. We only regret the things that we don't do. So if I were you, I would give it a try. If
Yeah,
there is something inside of you that says, perhaps I still want to, you know.
I think I just need, it's like exposure therapy with my anxiety. I think I just need to go through it, cry, and and go through it like a multiple times, and for it to become nothing.
Well, thank you. And Shaida, what about you?
Yes, I had, and I still have, and I feel quite blessed because of it. And what I believe is that having someone who embraces and loves every single version of you, like unconditionally, it's beautiful, is special, and it's something rare.
Yeah, I mean, I wish to be honest, I wish I had people like that. I must say that family member would be a strong word to use. But I think I have a couple of former roommates with whom I had a kind of a brotherly, sisterly bond. And we had important conversations that if I had siblings, would probably look like those ones. So I wish to have such a bond. Maybe it will happen. Who knows? But for now, I don't have. I mean, I have lots of friends and they keep growing because I keep moving, but not to brotherly, sisterly level up to which I can call them at 3 a.m. at night if there's a problem or if I need to vent for anything. So that's the kind of bond that I imagine that maybe you should have with your friend. So I think it's very important that we keep such friendships in our lives because they are like a lifesaver for our not only for our life but also for the maybe I don't know bad times. We know that maybe we want to isolate ourselves, but then to have somebody you can count on even in those dark times is essential, at least for me.
Yeah, and there are some connections that you can not explain, right? They just happen. It's effortlessly, it develops, it gets stronger, and it lasts. So that's why it's so special, and we should cultivate them.
More friendship that feels like
Yeah.
sisters and brothers, please.
I need to get out of the house to find friendship first.
Girl,
That's my biggest
girl,
issue. I'm always at home.
girl, we're gonna book you like a flight to Brussels and to Madrid. Like honestly, like if you want to, that's an
Yes,
incentive. Uh,
more than welcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, for being here with me today. And to our
Sorry.
listeners, we hope that you like being part of the Lady Her fam and that wherever you are in the world, you have your little family. And if you don't, that you cherish yourselves as the most important family member. Now, I'll quickly pass it on to Schaida that wanted to say something.
Yeah, just like adding something. Forgive your parents if they're not exactly the way you would like them to be, and look at them a little bit with more love, because the hard truth is that they're not getting any younger, and you don't want to get older bitter anyway.
So if you like our podcast and would like to support us financially, we have in our YouTube page a link called Buy Me a Coffee, and that's how you can support us for more episodes to go, and we would love to be with you for much longer than this. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye bye.
Bye.